in the region and should be able to maintain some equilibrium and didn't do that.
Actually, just do the job and get out and be there as a
Kenya
friend.
should have done the job and gotten out.
Yes.
We're talking about the simmering tensions, the diplomatic row between Kenya and Somalia at the moment. We're joined in the studio today by Farah Malim, who is talking to us about, what is the cause of all of this. Before we went in, the last question was, Farah, we're saying Kenya went in and basically messed things up and refused to leave?
Well, they basically we are not doing the job we went in to do. We are not engaging Al-Shabaab. Yeah.
So what are we doing?
What are we doing there, sitting there? That's the point. We are not engaging Al-Shabaab. The last time Al-Shabaab engaged us in El Ade and in Kolbio, we're not engaging them.
Or the last time they engaged us was within our own boundaries.
Within our in the case of Kolbio, yes, Kolbio was just there. I think it's somewhere there. They're engaging us in Lamu every day. They're engaging us in Manda Bay. I mean, they're so bold. They did what they did.
So I hear you saying that the problem that we should have been sorting out, that Kenya should have been sorting out in Somalia, you actually have that problem mushrooming in Kenya's own backyard and not being able to deal with it, but still wanting to, stir the pot in Somalia?
My sister, all the members of parliament and the entire leadership from Northeastern Province went to see the president to tell him we have lost Northeastern Province to Al-Shabaab.
We have lost Northeastern Province to Al-Shabaab.
Yes. And we're here. We're suffering. Our schools are closing. Our health sector is going to suffer. We are suffering. You know what he told them? Go back. These are your own boys. You get my point? And come back with a solution. Come back to me with a solution. In other words, he's telling them, go in there and sort out the problem yourself. And it's not our own boys. This is not Mungiki. They're saying we sorted out our issue with our own boys. This is a different thing. It's an insurgency in another country where you went in yourself.
Now,
in the first place, we went into Somalia, so we engaged them there.
Did we stop Al-Shabaab in Somalia?
No. Now they came to follow us because your enemy is your enemy everywhere. If you're fighting me here, I'll fight you everywhere I can. So then when they come and hit us, instead of going and engaging them, you come to your own children and tell them, my friends, you better go sort out this thing. It's like a father in a house, and the child comes out and says, Dad, there are thugs coming in with pangas, and the father runs away and tells the children, go sort it out, go and engage the thugs. You get my point? So in other words, there is absolutely no parallel between that two. The only parallel, the only relationship is that the ethnic Somalis are across there, and we ethnic Somalis who are Kenyans. So here we are, as Kenyans, being told you're on your own. And then it goes beyond that. What does our government do? It starts engaging because of one reason or the other, and I don't know what those reasons are. And they have a tiff with the president in Somalia, and basically the issues that are there. It could be the maritime boundary.
There are many things that are going on right here. There's the redrawing of the boundary, the maritime war, back and forth, and then we see these clashes. But the sentiment that came from the president just a few days ago was very clear. And he said, look, let's not provoke. We have tried in terms of diplomatic relations in the region, and we see Somalia being as an ungrateful neighbor. That's what came out.
Who is provoking? The government that stays in your own territory, a foreign government occupation force that is in your own territory and picks up rebels to the center in that territory, takes them through its own territory and asks them to engage you, support them, arm them, do everything. Who is provoking? Kenya has taken the rebels, Madobe's people, taken them through Somalia in the sector where we control, which is AMISOM, brought them to Mandera. You get my point? House them in our own military camps, gave them all the equipments they need and the military equipments, and told them, go and engage your people. And Somalia is being fought from Kenya. This is the point people need to understand. So it's not a question of being ungrateful.
What you're saying is that Kenya has taken a side in the issues that are internal issues within Somalia.
Internal issues within Somalia. A fugitive, who was arrested and who escaped from prison is here now. And the forces that are there in Kismayu and those areas are the ones we are moving now to go and engage Somalia from Mandera.
So
Kenyans are saying we will become a collateral damage. Why do you want to destroy us? If they have to fight, why don't they fight in Somalia? You see, don't make them attack from Kenya. Let them sneak into Somalia and engage their own Somalis there.
Is there any merit in the thought that you know, Jubaland, and with, you know, what you call a leader with which there was no consultation with regional bodies like the AU, for example? Is there any thought that, you know, Kenya did actually try to make sure that they established some kind of peace in the area, and now this could have been seen as the toppling of that equilibrium?
You see, we live on both sides of the border as a clans. Those are internal problems. Never get involved in the internal problem of another country. They have their own issues.
Which spills over into your country?
No, it will never spill over into your own country. They have their own issues there.
If you don't get involved,
how does it spill over into your country? You see what I mean? Now, on the other hand, I'm told the folks in there are saying, no, Sisi, we're being told we are friends with Kenya. Kenya is supporting us. Kenya wants to help us to secede from Somalia. You get my point? But that will never happen. That will unite the entire Somali nation, even those ones in Somaliland. Let me tell you one thing. We want to have a very strong, we are Kenyans. We love our country. We want to have a strong Kenya, a multi-ethnic, multiracial, multi-denominational Kenya. But we don't want Somalia to be destroyed. You get my point? It's like having Luos living in Kenya and a whole nation of Luos just across the border on the other side. Would the Luos of Kenya accept the Luos in Uganda who occupy the whole of Uganda to be destroyed? No. Now this is the basic things. That's why the entire Somali population of Kenya is against what the government of Kenya is doing.
Is that the case?
Oh yes.
Is that the case?
Everybody.
Right. So now we're looking at these simmering tensions that come out, and then when President Uhuru Kenyatta says, "Look here, don't provoke it by doing what you're doing."
Who is provoking? I am asking you. Why don't you? You see, we need independent Kenyan minds to go and look at this thing. Who is provoking? We are the ones hosting the fugitives. Supposing we have a new movement in Kenya right now, which is against the government, against the Nairobi government. And that movement is hosted by Somalia. And it's armed by Somalia. And it's sent back to Kenya to come and engage. Who is provoking? Is it Kenya or Somalia which has armed our own rebels to come and attack us?
In the studio with Farah Malim and Siti, your question just before we went into the break.
Well, the question is simply this. There were MPs from Kenya who come from the northern part of the country who visited Somaliland. Somalia, not the federal state of Somalia.
Yes. Muqdisho.
Yes, Mogadishu. So when they came back, they've received a lot of attention from the media. They've received a lot of attention from the government. They've received a lot of attention from security forces. That's why I'm calling it attention. And I'm saying, is it against this background that they receive that amount of attention?
Farah, does it have anything to do with
it? Yes. You see, we stand to lose. If there's a problem between the two countries, and the rate at which Al-Shabaab has already taken over our area, we are losing. The Somalis of Kenya have lost.
What?
Everything. We don't have schools. We don't have schools that are functioning. We don't have security. Our people are getting killed every day. Both sides. Al-Shabaab is killing them. The military also, the security on our side is also doing certain damages because there's so many people who are enforced disappearances. We don't know where they are. So here we are suffering. We come to our president to ask him, Mr. President, as the commander-in-chief of the Kenyan Armed Forces, as the president of this country, do something, please.
So are you saying that these 11 MPs who traveled?
Hang on a minute. Let me just finish. We come to our president. Our president tells us, and the problem is from Somalia. The genesis and the roots of Al-Shabaab is in Somalia. And then they decide to go to Somalia to see what can be done between the two countries, because the two governments and the two presidents, in bringing them closer so that we can collectively deal with this problem and secure our region.
Is that why they went to Somalia?
Yes. Nothing else. Nothing else. Just to see how our own region can be secured.
Take us back a little.
And we knew what was building up.
Farah, take us back a little bit.